Zoe, firstly, you've been around this England camp for a wee while now. How exciting is it going into a Six Nations campaign again?
Yeah, it's very exciting, especially to have our standalone tournament this year. It's the first time we've obviously done it, supported by obviously TikTok. So it's really exciting, and the buzzing camp is really growing into the first week of the Six Nations next week.
It's the first time the men's and the women's competition has been separate. It's so good for the women's game, as you said before, but I suppose growing up for these young girls that want to play, they'll now be able to see your game on free-to-air television, and brilliant for growing of the numbers and going forward.
Yeah, definitely. It's amazing that we have our standalone tournament, and the exposure for young girls coming through is amazing, because obviously if they can see it, then it gives them the chance to believe that they can be it. So it's really good for us to be role models to those young girls who are able to watch on the telly.
Yeah, and what about this England team? You're in 18 wins in a row. Does winning just become a habit now?
You could say that, but obviously it's a lot down to our hard work that we do put into training. Obviously the girls work hard on the field, off the field. Everything they do is obviously to be able to put those performances on the pitch.
Yeah, and how much are you enjoying your rugby with the Red Roses, going forward? Is the bond so good because obviously you say about the training, but because you're winning, that nearly makes it even better, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's very exciting. I think through the autumns you could see a massive change in our team cohesion, and we really had the togetherness and that drive to be able to want to win together. So I think that's going to be really important going into the Six Nations, and I think also that we are trying to challenge each other on the pitch, so that's really good to push us to the next level.
You obviously won it last year and a couple of years before that, so everyone wants to beat you. But how do you not focus on actually winning it and just getting better as a group? Does your coach set targets, or how does that work with you guys in the group?
Yeah, definitely. So we always have targets. I think this Six Nations is about working on everything that we wanted to work on from the autumns, building on each performance that we had from them, and taking that into the Six Nations. It's obviously about finding combinations as well, going into the World Cup next year. So who's going to step up and come into into those roles?
Yeah, it is a settled squad, but there's a chance for a few debutants there. How good is it for them to get the opportunity, but for you as a senior player, a few caps under your belt to go and help these young women coming through? They may be daunting coming into a training camp. Do you have responsibilities like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's our responsibility as players who've been around for a while to help those players feel comfortable and be able to thrive in that environment, because it can be quite intimidating coming in, but it's our job to make sure that we're helping them as much as they can, helping them learn everything that needs to be learned on the pitch. So just making them as comfortable as possible in that environment.
Last year I think you have 57 tries scored, 10 conceded if my stats are right. It's pretty impressive. Do you focus on stats like that, or is it just every game and try and get better?
No, definitely we don't focus on the stats. It's definitely every week, every game we concentrate on that game and what we can do in that game. Obviously look at the opposition, see where their strengths, weaknesses are, and then how can we expose those basically. So every week is what we focus on each week. We don't even think about past that game, so that's a really big one for us. We don't think about past that game.
And first up, Scotland and Edinburgh. Great rivalry, isn't it? Always a good battle.
Yeah, definitely. We can't wait to go up to Edinburgh. We've had a few weeks, real hard training sessions. A week to go till it all kicks off, and it'll be a really good competition between us and Scotland up in Edinburgh.
I know you'll say we only look at the first game, but France away, what a test that's going to be as well. They obviously will look for revenge from the final last year, so it's all set up for a good tournament.
Yeah, definitely. I think each week we're just going to obviously continue on what we're going to focus on that week, but obviously we will have France in the back of our minds and be watching them, how they're progressing through the tournament, and it'll be a really exciting one to finish the tournament.
And how do you combine this Six Nations, getting the preparation right, and then the World Cup down the line in 6 months? It's going to be a fine balance, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think we're using this as kind of a pre-World Cup, if that makes sense. So a kind of test World Cup, seeing how we react and adapt to the training loads in the week, going into each and every game, seeing when we need to rest, that sort of thing. So yeah, I'd say it was definitely a pre-warm-up for the World Cup.
Just last couple for me. Do you think this is the best England team you've been involved in your time?
Oh, it's very tricky. Obviously, in 2017, that was an incredible team to be part of. Some absolute legends, part of that team. I think obviously we are trying to push our standards this time round, but it's very hard to compare the two. I'd say they're very similar, like performance wise, but yeah, it's very different.
And lastly, again, as I said, you're going to say every game, but in the back of your mind, as a player, you want to win trophies. So the ultimate goal is to win the Six Nations and win the World Cup. It's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Yeah. So obviously, like our main goal, this is what we play rugby for. This is what we train for. We play to win. So yes, we want to win the Grand Slam. Yes, we want to win the World Cup. But it's about all the training that we put in beforehand, and it's not going to come easy whatsoever. So yeah, we're going to have to do absolutely everything before the time. Like we're going to eat, sleep, and breathe rugby.
Great stuff. Thanks for your time.
Cool. Thank you.